This audio must be fine, I guess. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the third session of Influencer Summit and Awards 2021. Uh, Being an influencer is one of the most modern professions of the world, and when it comes to offer content in regional languages, it is another niche. In this session, we are going to speak about influencing regional India and what all it takes to connect with Bharat, so to say. We have with us Pankaj Bhadoria, food blogger. We have with us Abhi and New, content creators of Hash 100 Reasons to Love India, Madan Gauri, YouTuber, Aksh Bagla, YouTuber, and Sadiq Abu Bakr, blogger of Fame Page. So, guys, let us start with a very basic question. You know, that how difficult or different or easy is it to when it comes to create content in regional languages? Does anything change fundamentally when it comes to any other language other than English when you are creating content for your followers? So, Abhi, if I can start with you, Abhi, and you.
There are other challenges because it certainly matters in which language your thoughts originally come to you. So for us, it was much more comfortable to think and talk in English, but to convert those thoughts into Hindi, you can't really go word to word. You have to focus on what is the way of speaking in that particular language. So there are certain challenges, but there are certain rewards as well because there are still not many people who are comfortable in English in regional India, in tier 3 cities or in villages. So it doesn't really make sense if we are keeping that much audience away just because of that language barrier. Any language should be a bridge and not a barrier. So it's not the language that's important, it's that bridge that is important. So yeah, that is for us.
Yeah, you any thoughts?
Me. See, for me, converting content into Hindi is more so, first of all, making sure that the words are simple and we find the exact words to convert them from English to Hindi. So English will flow pretty easily, but then to convert that into easily understandable Hindi is sometimes a bit of a challenge because something that we can explain in a few words in English will probably take a little more effort in Hindi, maybe because of the difference in the way both these languages are structured. And then the other challenge is to like make sure you stick to the rules of grammar. So that is how it is.
Okay, yeah, yeah. So, Akshay, I'll come to you. So, when it comes to music, obviously, what Abhi and you do is like, they have information that they give us, a lot of informative stuff and, behind the scenes things we come to know about or things that are happening in the country. But when it comes to you as a in terms of music, how does that change? What does it really take to, cater to that audience?
So, being a cover artist, when I started off, I started doing a lot of English songs because that's what everybody was doing, right? I started my channel way back in 2016 when not a lot of people were doing YouTube. That's how I started, and then I started incorporated Hindi songs in the English songs as English Hindi mashups, which worked out a lot better for me. And then as years went by, I always wanted to do more and wanted to reach more people. So I did try. Like recently, I did a year-end mashup where I wanted to add all the songs of every part of India which is done well, and I did, I think, Bata Bamma, which is a Telugu song, I think, and that video went really well. Most of the comments, I mean, for me as an artist, it does take a little bit of effort because I have to learn those lyrics because I don't know that language. But I think music speaks to everyone, and that really worked out really well for me.
It pays off well to connect with people in their language, I would believe. So they also kind of. Madan, I'll come to you. What about how has been your experience?
I personally think that the best thing about using a vernacular language, the local language, is you understand the flavors of the people easily.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
when you do a content in English, I have my own English channel. So when I make a video about the Black movement, the recent movement in US after the death. So when I made a video of that in English, I had to give examples that would be mostly global. But when I make the same content in Tamil, I can give examples that are more relevant to the audience. And when it comes to relevance, it doesn't matter if the audience knows English or Tamil. If he is a Tamilian, he is going to prefer listening to Tamil. If the content is the same, someone is going to prefer listening in their own language. The same applies to any language, even ourselves, right? No matter how fluent we are in English, as just as humans, we tend to go back to the original language that we generally
Right.
talk. That's the one we are closest to. And the examples and everything, and the sensibilities also differ in a country like India. Um, an example of Buttabomma that Aksh said now would be huge hit in Andhra, but in Tamil Nadu, still there is like 10 crore people who won't understand what that song is. So the
Right.
sensibilities differ, and the local language really helps in connecting to the audience, at a different level.
Yeah. You made a very good point, Madan, about sensibility,
Yeah.
So because when it comes to regional languages, so, a northern part of the country or a southern part or east and western, everyone, we are such a huge country that sensibilities differ across the country. So
Exactly.
I'm sure that, even if, a person who is sitting up here in north and is trying to do something which will be relevant for south, it has to be kept in mind that the sensibilities of people who are going to listen to it have to be kept in mind. So that,
Yeah.
Sadiq, Pankaj, Sadiq, if I can come to you and then to Pankaj, maybe that, how
Mhm.
important is this, this sensibility when you're creating, anything for your audience? Because obviously, like Sadiq, you are from Kerala and you
Yeah,
understand.
yeah.
You're there, so you understand what the sensibilities are, but maybe for Aksh it might be a little difficult, maybe, or maybe for Abhi or you. So how do
Mhm.
you tackle that?
Okay, I started in influencer marketing last year for almost 4.5 years. And now I completed 400 brands. But in Kerala, I only work with less than 15 brands because the Kerala don't know about the influence marketing and everything. Like people don't know. We need to more awareness about the these influence marketing. Uh, the main problem is big celebrities don't know about the marketing. So big celebrities like a film actress, films or something like that, they are work with very cheap rate. So it's a problem with the budding influencers, like budding influencers and influencers like us. So I started a marketing platform itself in Kerala, like FamePace. So I started to awareness everyone, like this is not a good way. We should pay. We should ask the correct amount, and like that everything. So yeah, I controlling influence marketing in Kerala, like the sensibility, the correct way.
Okay, okay.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Pankaj, your thoughts?
Hello.
Yes, Pankaj, go ahead.
So, Saurabh, as far as the vernacular concern and as far as the local market is concerned, um, how we produce content is first by understanding for whom we are producing this content.
Right.
Right. When we started earlier, I
Mm,
think about 2011 or 12 it was. So the the YouTube scene was very different from what it is today. Right, at that time we were doing short videos, which did not have any need to speak at all, more of top shots, because I produce food, right? More of top shots, and I would just come on screen and say, today I'm going to share the recipe of this with you. Then you have the actual action happening with subtitles both in English and Hindi to tell you what is happening, right? When we went into an analysis of what my audience was like, we realized that after India, we have a good following in our neighboring countries like Bangladesh, Pakistan, and Nepal, and US is a big, follower, and then UAE. So we realized that English would be a better medium, because English is one language which is spoken all over the country as well, and it would help me to, reach out to my audience sitting worldwide. So I started producing videos in English. So when I would speak in English. Then, as time changed, we realized that the North Indian, the West Indian markets are greater. I have a greater audience there. And fortunately, I am multilingual. I can speak a lot of languages very fluently. So, and so what I started doing was I started producing content which is bilingual. Anything that I say in English gets repeated in Hindi, or anything that I say in Hindi gets repeated in English again, you know, because I'm very comfortable doing that, because I do that in my classes as well. So so that's when we decided to do a bilingual content, and that has helped us to reach a lot more people today, both English and Hindi speaking audience. I speak fluent Punjabi, I speak fluent Bengali, I speak the Mumbai Marathi, nowhere else, only the Mumbai Marathi, a bit of Gujarati also, right? So I can throw in a few words here and there to, to appeal to the audience there. So that's how we've decided our path of what language to pick up, right, and what language to use.
Mm, mm. Okay, so in this panel we have people from doing diverse kind of things. So like you were into food, Aksh is into music, Abhi. So I just want to understand that is it that it's easier in say in food? Is it easier because we're seeing what the ingredients are? So even if I don't understand the language, I might see that you're putting in cumin, so I can understand it. But when it comes to say the information, the kind of videos Abhi makes or the covers that Akshay is doing or Madan is doing, so then it's a little difficult because there you'll have to make them understand. So just to my understanding, so is it easier in some types of content generation and difficult in others? Anyone, I mean, whoever wants to speak on
For
that.
sure. I personally feel there are two things that do not have language. One is food and another is music. So both do
True.
not have language. Irrespective of what you do, people are going to enjoy it. If you really look at the Indian channels, right? One of the biggest channel in India is actually a food channel from Tamil Nadu. They are from Theni, at a very small town in Tamil Nadu. They do not know English, but the reach that they have, they are watched in Mexico, they are watched in US, and they talk in Tamil. Doesn't matter,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
people
yeah, yeah.
enjoy.
I know that page. I know that YouTube page.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
people
it's a
enjoy
very great.
watching food being made. People enjoy when there is a good music. So I think Akshay and Pankaj are really in elevated platforms when it comes to the category that they are in. So they can actually explore, across the world without really changing much.
Mm. Abhi, is that discouraging? I'm saying, so we can't hear. I can't hear you.
Abhi, your voice is
Abhi, your voice is not coming.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when it comes to video, the biggest language that everybody speaks is a visual language. So what Madan is also talking about is the visual language. It's not just the spoken language that we are talking about. So as you said, that if somebody can see the ingredients, it is easier for them to understand what that person is talking about, even if that video is in English, and even if that person does not know the name of that ingredient in English.
Mm.
So we as creators, we try to make our videos as visual as possible. So if somebody cannot understand what type of mango we are talking about, but even by looking at that mango, that person can relate, that person can go back into his memories and figure out what we are talking about, then the gap is bridged. So that is the main essence of it. And we should not forget that when making videos, it's a visual language. It's not necessary that everybody has gone to Dubai and everybody has seen how tall Burj Khalifa is. But when you actually show him, you actually take him over there, it is easier for you to connect with him. So that is the one barrier that we need to bridge, whichever language we are making our videos in.
Right, I agree with Abhi. And even as far as food is concerned, the way food is being presented today sort of has changed drastically. You know, earlier it was simple. This is what is being added. अब हम इसमें ये add करेंगे. This is to be added, and this you cook it for 5 minutes. No, today it's all about making food look drools worthy.
Yeah.
Even a shot of oil being poured has to be so beautiful. You need to compare it to music, right? So again, as Abhi said, right, it's all visual, but that visual has to be so beautiful that it should translate into music and poetry for any viewer who's watching it. And many people do not even have their phones, with the volumes on. Most of them watch food videos with their volumes off so that they can see what is happening, right? So YouTube is all about seeing and understanding and believing.
No, I have to totally agree with what Abhi and Neo said. So when it comes to visuals, right, their videos are amazing. I don't know how they do the editing in that. This vertical format is also very tough, but then it's amazing and kudos to that.
Thank
But even though the visuals are great, one thing that I feel is, even as Pankaj also said, the thing is, the biggest brands in the world when it comes to entertainment is Marvel and DC, specifically Marvel. So even when there is an Iron Man movie, they remake it in Hindi, Tamil, Telugu, Malayalam, Kannada, and every language. No matter how great the visuals is,
Right.
there is something about the local flavor. Even the dialogues, right? They're not exactly translated. They make the local flavors mixed with it. And in Hindi, I think for Deadpool, Bhuvan Bam actually dubbed for one of the characters, and he made his own character into the role. So one thing that I'm trying to say is I can learn Hindi today and I can start trying to make videos in Hindi. But I will never understand the sensibility of Hindi audience
Correct.
unless or otherwise I am from North India or I am from a state that talks Hindi predominantly. So the sensibility will always evade me no matter how hard I try. I will always be looked as an outsider. Maybe I can be looked as someone who's cute trying to learn the language, but I will never really understand the sensibility.
Correct.
Yeah. So, Aksh, I think it must be easier for you. I mean, music knows. I mean, I listen to music that I don't even understand. It's in any other language, but I get I hear it. I feel good. I feel nice about it, and I keep it on the loop. So, how does it work for you?
So when it comes to music, it's mostly about the sound. So there are different vibes and sounds of the music. Like there are some music which will make you energizing, some will make you calm. Lyrics and words are an addition to the music that makes you feel, personal or something like that. It's like Madan said, like there's a channel which is in Telugu, you said, and which is being watched everywhere. The same thing happens with me. Like I've done. Old 90s to 2020 mashup where I did all the Hindi hits. And that video, there are a lot of comments which says, we don't understand what you're saying, but we love it. Right. So I think that thing, yes, for me, because I just have to sing, so I don't have to learn the language as per. But yeah, I mean, that does for music, it's just the vibe of the music that reaches the people.
Mm, mm, mm. We have with us Sadiq, and he's a fine example of of what my next question is. That so looking at hearing to all of you guys, it tells me that there's a huge opportunity for a lot of aspiring maybe who want to get into this to become influencers. Because earlier even I talked to some of these guys who work in various languages for the internet, and internet is still hijacked by English. Like unlike in some places like Russia or somewhere where they have created their own the URLs also in Russian, but here we still use English as the URL. So somewhere we need to break that down and cater to people who understand that language. So Sadiq, I'll come to you and ask that if we start creating and people start accepting content in their own language, it I
Mhm.
believe it opens up a huge opportunity for a lot of aspiring influencers, wouldn't you say?
Yes, yes. Actually, I'm more into fashion content. Like I post more numbers of images.
Hmm.
Even I post an English story.
Yes. Hmm.
Yeah, okay, English story. I'll repeat the same in Malayalam
Hmm.
for my native people.
Right.
Yeah. And another content is like I only post a high quality good content only. Like maybe I got a chance to post anything in the next 2 3 days, but I wait to get a better content.
Hmm.
Like
Okay.
so I post an high quality images only.
Hmm.
Okay.
So do people come to you to ask you that what you've done, so if they can also they kind of want to do the same kind of stuff that you are doing?
I like dance.
Okay. Hmm.
Actually, I don't know any dance or any activities like that. Yeah.
No, my question was that, what I was saying that, if we start like, as we start going towards regional languages, so, doesn't it open up a lot of opportunity for a lot of young aspiring people who want to
Oh
become
yes.
influencers?
Haha. Yeah. In Kerala, there's lots of budding influencers.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, yeah. So I help them for because of I'm starting an influence marketing agency like FamePace.
Okay.
So yeah, so I guide them to we have to meet up like I guide them like we should make a original content. We should make a better content. Like we demand payment. So like some payments something like that. Because I start like 4 years back. I work with the brands like barter system more than 1 years. So I know every route of the marketing.
Okay.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
new, new, I'll come to you. So, what do you think? How does it opens up market for, even in my family, I see a couple of, young kids, they ask them, what do you want to be influencer? I want to be an influencer. So they're aspiring, but, so does this regional language really open up a lot of opportunity for, a lot of people to come, enter the segment and yet be successful, yet become famous?
yeah,
Definitely.
yeah.
It's
Hello,
complete, Sadiq.
hearable.
Uh,
Yes, Sadiq, yes.
Okay, okay, okay. We are going to TikTok. TikTok is a better platform for making content viral.
Okay.
So in there's another short video platform is coming already done. So I ask people to join the another platform video and make the content like their songs, dance and something like that, and show the performance and make viral. And in Kerala, it's a many opportunities there, like a film, album, songs, and everything. So people already some joints already films and everything, like influencer and then films, influencer and then short films, influencer and then web series,
Okay.
something.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So that opens up other opportunities, other
Yes,
doors
yes.
for from influencer. Okay. New, if I can come to you.
so
So
I think that you guys can hear me, right?
Yes, yes.
Right. So then I think that when you make content in regional languages, first of all, you end up reaching across a lot of people. What happens when you speak in, say, a language like English is that there is inevitably like a class divide for people who don't know English or who may have gone to a vernacular school, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like over our content creation journey, we've realized that people in India have this sort of like they look, at least earlier they used to look down a little on regional languages in India, but then prefer languages from abroad. Like there used to be, some pride in learning French or Spanish or maybe Mandarin or something like that, but no such pride while learning Indian languages. That is slowly changing right now because you have such a big audience to sort of cater to. You have people who are hungry to see content, and it makes a lot of sense for people to stick to maybe languages from their home state or be multilingual or learn multiple languages. So one opportunity that I think may work out is that with this new education policy, what they want to do is they want to start introducing the local languages in schools, which is a good idea because kids, when you're really young at that particular point of time, at that age, learning multiple languages helps your brain develop, and you can pick up languages easily as well. I mean, we probably picked up languages easier as a kid than probably right now. If I were to learn a language right now, it would take me more time than when I was a kid. So I feel that is also one area where content creators can create educational, informative content for children in their local languages. Maybe they can convert local folklores or stories into video content or audio content, or have traditional songs, or document all of that stuff and then have it ready and work with schools or in the education sector. So I feel like a lot of budding content creators can get into edtech and figure out local language stuff so that they can work with children. And I think that'll be a game changer because you'll end up preserving a lot of all of these local traditions or stories, maybe your grandma's stories and stuff like that. and it'll make the children a lot more grounded and connected to the state and the language as well. I mean, that's what I think.
I totally agree with you. I recently saw this channel on YouTube where people from these mountains who are living in like really small houses, and they're showing like they started vlogging. They're showing their life, how, and it's not like this, amazing life where they have this and they have that. They're showing that they have one bed and they have to go cut wood and get it to cook food, and that content is doing really well on YouTube. If I mean that has been one of the major uh, content that has been viewed in 2020. So yeah, I
Yeah,
think.
and I also believe that there are many dialects in which there are stories which pass on through generation and generation. They're not written anywhere, maybe, possibly. So if those can be converted into maybe videos or visuals, then I think that gets preserved for posterity, if we can do that.
And that has an audience for like the older generation and the younger generation alike, because the older generation will be like, "Acha, ye humne suna tha," and the younger generation will be like, "Okay, this is something new for us to learn as well." So it
Hmm.
will connect across generations as well, and it will be a good way for people to connect as well. But
Hmm.
I do think that if this is done in education the way it's planned, then it will really be amazing.
Hmm.
I'd like to add something on that. Like you said, like a content which is catering to both older and newer generations. So the day I started doing, because most of my revenue is not just from brands and YouTube, I also do live shows a lot. So when I started doing a lot of mashups in old like old songs and mashing them up with new English songs, so like a lot of NRI audience, they started enjoying it so much and they wanted to listen to it because they could listen to that specific song with their younger children, or they can like play it and then they'll also enjoy it, and there's a twist and there's also an English newer song, and their kids and grandchildren can also enjoy it. Like I get a lot of emails from kids that ये वाला गाना आपका मेरे दादी भी सुनते हैं. So that's that's, I think that's really nice.
Yeah. Uh, uh,
Sort of, it's not. It's really heartening to see how music, what Aksh said, how music is, trying to bring generations together.
hmm.
And I'd like to tell you something. Even food is doing that very
Right,
beautifully.
right. I was coming to
And yes, in fact, our generation or my kids today have a very different, um, food choice, and from what we did when we were growing up. But there are certain. Um, some pieces of content that I've created, we've shared certain recipes which do not really resonate with the younger generation. But then I have people, writing back to say, "Arey, ये तो हम खाते थे पहले, अब तो ये बनना ही बंद हो गया है." Uh, Things like which are very, very regional or very, very typically home style. For example, there is something called
could be
pare
even
that
a
is done
yeah,
in
it could be
UP.
even a particular family, very very specific to a particular region or family, that the way they used to cook it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, I remember when I introduced my kids to something called dal kadula, so which is a very UP dish, right? I introduced it as dal momos so that they could relate to the, what we were doing. So, yes, but somehow I have learned that by sharing such things, not only are the older generation connecting to it, but they're also trying to share it with their, देखो देखो ये हम ऐसे बनाते थे खाते थे, हम बनाएं क्या तुम खाओगे? And then people, writing back to tell me that they tried it because they suddenly remembered, oh yes, we would have this. They've shared it, especially during the past few months, as the situation took a drastic turn. Uh, we've had many people cooking at home more than ever and experimenting at home. We've had so many budding, content creators coming up during these last months, and so much new happening. But what it has also done is it has connected the old and the new again, through this content that we create. So you will have many people sitting together, generations sitting together, watching something, or as I said, listening to music which appeals to all generations, right? Trying out new food, right? Or I see my I see like my mother-in-law and my daughter sitting together, shopping on the net together, right? So that connect somehow that has come, how and searching for things together, you know. And चलो YouTube पे मैं आपको ये दिखाती हूँ. And as a result, generations are trying to come closer. And I think it's a beautiful change that has come about in these past few months.
Mm. No, I completely agree. I'm one of them who's, again started cooking by looking at videos and some recipes
There you see.
and that
There are
really,
many YouTubers coming last year because of all are staying home.
yeah,
Hmm.
Many mostly food content creators.
yeah,
Yes, yes.
yeah. I was
Many of
coming.
successful. Many of successful.
Mm.
Mm. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
coming
within
to.
yeah
Yeah,
yeah. Okay,
I
okay.
wanted to come to that, yeah, Sadiq, that, in the last 8, 9 months, during the lockdown,
Yeah.
how did things change for influencers? Because, yeah, I know food is an easy thing, or for us, maybe music, I don't know if you can do it, but, for Abhi, maybe going out and shooting it was not possible. For
Yeah.
you, maybe Sadiq, going and clicking pictures. For Mother and you, I mean, so what did change in the past 7, 8 months? And has it changed for the good or the bad, or how is it the same?
I think what
Actually,
pandemic has done is it has clicked fast forward button on internet life. So
Right.
whatever is happening now would have anyway happened. This was inevitable. This is the way internet is going to evolve. As more people get into internet, internet is going to evolve into a particular form. So we are probably Adam and Eves of internet. To be honest, that's what we are. We are just at the starting phase of internet, and we know there is going to be a particular way internet is going to evolve, just like our world has evolved. So in this evolution process, what pandemic has done is it has paused all our dreams and said, okay, fast forward 5 years. Whatever we thought would be happening after 5 years is happening right now. The number of people who watches, the number of people who come from different backgrounds, the personalization of content, everything has happened in 5 months. What was supposed to happen in 5 years? Thanks to Geo, thanks to lockdown, everyone sitting at home, consuming internet more than ever. So my prediction is that internet is going to get personalized as well. We are all going to have a personalized creators. We are all going to have personalized platforms. So what today is looked as Hindi heartland, where a creator can speak in Hindi and capture half the country, is not going to be possible in future, because there will be a Punjabi creator, there will be a Marathi creator, there will be a Bihari creator, there will be a Bhojpuri creator who does the same content at the same level of excellence in their own language. So audience will be switching to the regional content creators, is what I feel.
Hmm.
Uh, when we look, I'm telling at this trend because it has happened at global level. There used to be English creators in 2010s. That is going to be just in English creators. But when Geo happened, the local creators, like Indian creators, who gave the same content. For example, if there was PewDiePie, here came Simon Says. So people started giving the same content in our own country, in our own style. So audience started switching from English creators to Indian creators. This is going to get even more personalized as Indian creators will become regional creators will become regional dialects, and it is going to be personalized to the core. That's what I feel. And we are a generation of the first entrepreneurs in this one term. So we are going to be looking at this evolution. We are going to pave way, but we are not the future. We are just the beginning.
Yeah. Very well said, Madan. I totally, completely believe that, that regional and even it can be broken down to dialects because,
Yeah.
in India, we say that every 50 kilometers, the dialect even changes. But then that brings me to a very important point is that, obviously, if someone is making a career out of, being an influencer, so if that regionalization is going to be so small, is that going to really help the person to, because obviously you need to make a living out of it, and you need to have a known. So do you think that kind of is a catch 22 thing, that what will happen, because your audience base becomes very small in that case?
Yeah,
Uh,
I personally feel, I'll just answer this. So I personally feel that, yes, it is true. but in other countries, not in India. Because looking at our population, we have 100 crore people here. So if we target one city, we have millions of people already. This is not possible anywhere in the world except India and China. And in China, there are not these many dialects compared to India. So this specific situation is very specific to India. Even when we look at the most subscribed channel in India, it is, I guess, 20 million, which is nothing but 2 crores, right? So when we look at this number compared to the population of our country is nothing. So the population is somewhere 130 crores and the internet has not even penetrated, the most subscribed channel has not penetrated to even 3% of that.
Mm.
So this personalization will in a way increase the audience, at the same time cut the big players. It will become, it will basically bring the big people down and will bring the small audience to a particular level.
Okay.
Madan, I'd like to add something on that.
Yeah.
I think that's actually a good thing because, like you said, content is going to go regional. I think more and more local businesses are going to opt for influencer marketing. So,
Aksh, you are going to be global, man. You are going to, you are having a global language. So how does it matter to you? This is for me, Abhi and Neo, Siddiq, Sadiq. We are
Yeah.
talking this.
no, I'm just answering Saurabh's question
Yeah,
that
Yeah.
he said if if the audience is going to be lesser for regional content. I don't think so because when you're creating content for a specific niche, that's better for a brand than numbers. So when you're talking about a content creator having less numbers, it doesn't like is equal or is like proportional to numbers or a person who's getting 5 million or 4 million. So I think that's not going to matter in the long term.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, for a lot of brands, they've realized that, rather than going for plain numbers is probably just a vanity play, but the actual engagement and the results,
The
that you
conversion
get, the
rate, basically.
conversion, that matters more than the plain numbers. And I guess, even if we drill down to a lot of regional dialects, uh, you know, even then it's possible to reach out to at least that entire state. Because if you look at Maharashtra, for example, if you go towards the Konkan side, the dialect is different. If you go towards Nashik side, that is different. And then if you go further towards Nagpur side, that dialect is different. There are three different ways of speaking Marathi, Malwani, etc. But the other person will still understand. Or if you go to Pune, the Marathi is completely different. But if you still make a Marathi video, by and large, you can still reach them. So you're not alienating the entire state in one go. I mean, I don't know about the other dialects in other states where it can get further
Yeah.
particular.
Another thing I would like to add is I understand English, I understand Hindi, I understand Marathi as well. But yet, a month ago, when I was checking out some fitness videos, I would see that Horlicks Akshay Kumar ad in Marathi. So even advertisers are realizing that regional content makes more impact. It connects better with people. And advertisers are realizing it because there is some money involved in it. So there has to be some fact associated with it. Another thing I would like to say
I
is,
agree with that. That's so true what you said.
yeah,
I'll give a funny example
yeah,
that this is very funny because when I was a kid, I'm a 90s kid, so born in 93. So when we are growing up, right, for a long time, till at least 2000s, I thought Shah Rukh Khan was an actor who appears as in advertisements.
hmm,
So that's what I thought because I have never seen a Shah Rukh Khan movie. All I see is him on television giving advertisements for different products. I never knew why he's there in so many brands. I always thought he must be some famous model, so he's in every brand. I never connected with Shah Rukh Khan. Maybe the marketing teams in those times really didn't understand the Tamil audience do not know who Shah Rukh Khan is. Maybe he's the biggest star in the country, but there is a whole state who does not know who it is. Maybe the elite audience, but not most of the general audience. So now when I see an influencer, when I see someone who's from my city endorsing a particular hotel in the city, I would trust him more than I would trust Dhoni or Virat Kohli saying the same thing.
correct.
And you were saying something. Yeah.
Yeah, Abhi, you wanted to finish something.
What was I saying?
Sorry.
Later on,
Okay.
we'll continue.
Okay. So that brings me to we have another 5 minutes, so I'll just put this question and have your views. And now when it comes to you all are influencers now. When it comes to brands, there has I would want to understand that what are the kind of, so this is also for people who are aspiring to become influencers. So obviously anything that comes to you, will you accept it as as a to promote it, or has there to be checks and balances? Because obviously as influencers it's your responsibility also, because people listen to you, people look up to you, they believe you. So how important is ethics when it comes to brand endorsements? Because especially when the smaller brands which would come to influencers because they want to take this organic route to reach to people whom they want to target. So Pankaj, if I can start with you and have everyone's view, and then we can
Yes, Saurabh, of course, as the influencers, we need to be very sure about what we are doing and very right, because what you say and what you do is going to uh, actually influence people. That's why you're influencer. So you need to have some sort of a check somewhere, of what you would do and what you wouldn't. So I'd be we do a lot of endorsements, we do a lot of the content creation for brands as well, but these are brands whom I would trust. If there's a brand I wouldn't trust, I wouldn't do it. Plain and simple. There are certain things that we have in place. So, for example, if I am doing a brand which wants me to promote its pots and pans, for example, they would send it to me. I would try it out, and then I'm convinced, oh yes, now this is good, it's working fine, and I'm convinced if it says it's cast iron and if it's this, if that, then I would do it, and then I'll say yes, I'm ready to do your brand. You can send it to me, and we'll do it. So yes, somewhere, even for food, for that matter, you know if it's a food brand, what am I doing? And if it is something that I would trust, if it is something that I would enjoy, I would definitely like to share it with my audience. If I don't feel comfortable about it, I do not do it, Saurabh. I don't.
Mhm. So
Yeah, I completely agree that.
okay, Sadiq, have you said no to any brand which has come to you because you thought that it was not correct for you to do so, or any one of you have you done that?
I have. I have many a
Of
times.
course,
I've done it several times.
of course, I feel
Several times.
everybody
Several
does
times.
it and
Several times.
everybody
No,
should do it because, as Madan said, that we are the Adams and Eves of this influencer generation. So there
Yeah,
are no rules set. We
right.
decide the rules. There is
yeah,
no
we
Advertising
decide.
Standards Council of India telling us that you cannot promote smoking or drinking. We have to decide ourselves. So that
Of
raises
course,
Absolutely.
we
our
have the full right. We have complete right.
yeah, so
Mm,
that raises our responsibility. We have to be
exactly.
our kid ego and super ego, deciding what we should do and what we shouldn't.
Yeah.
And that's what separates us from celebrities. That's what separates us from celebrities. Right now, if you see an ad by a celebrity, subconsciously you know that this person is not using this particular shampoo. He's just selling it. But in
Yes.
terms of influencers, we have that sort of trust remaining. And that is the responsibility of us influencers to keep that trust intact. After all, our audience is our biggest asset, and they
Mm,
are there because they trust us. They
Yeah,
know that
people
we are
more
not
trust in
just selling.
influencers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
mm,
Exactly. Exactly.
Saurabh, I reach out to more than 5 million people on Facebook. YouTube, it may not be equivalent, but yes. So whatever I share, wherever I share, I feel it is my moral responsibility to be, sharing things which make sense or which are right. So up here we have this right and wrong, right? So if you are convinced, then you do it. If you're not, you do not do it, is what I believe. And that is why there are so many things to which we've said no
mm.
very categorically. So no, the agencies who with whom we work, by this time they also know Pankaj ye nahi karegi, Pankaj wouldn't do this, Pankaj would do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
because
money
we
is
feel
secondary. We should treat our
uh,
followers with better and quality products.
Yeah,
absolutely,
and also
absolutely.
I believe that as you go to to tier two, tier three cities with your regional content, I mean they're even more vulnerable to start believing if they really see something. So that way the responsibility also increases multifold to ensure that what you say and what you ask them to use or use yourself and show them is proper, correct. So Aksh, any final thoughts, and then maybe we can wrap this up.
No, I would. I think I just say that when you say like, we are content creators who create content, and that might influence people, right? I never call myself an influencer. I mean, yes, I do. Might influence some people, but so being a content creator at this point of time is a matter of creating actually a community, and where that community sees you as a like a like a someone to see up to. So
Mm.
it's to just do something which doesn't connect with you, doesn't like the third question of today's discussion was this: how to be a long lasting creator. So that's, I think, a really important thing, because creating a community, engaging with them, talking to them, listening to them, and then bombarding them with something that doesn't.
Absolutely, it's all about building that trust with your community, people you know reach out to. So as long as that trust is alive, you're there, right? And to hold on to that trust, to build that trust, you have to be true, not just to yourself, but
Yeah.
also to the people you reach out to. And I believe that is something everybody would agree with,
Mm.
isn't that so?
Okay.
There was a time where there were like touch me not stars, where but at this point in time in 2021, it's very important. We are totally engaged. We reply to every comment. I think everybody does here. Older like celebrities and people who have big followers, they don't really reply to a lot of people. So we have that community. Being a content creator is very different from being a celebrity, and it's like a responsibility on us, I think.
Mm. Okay, so guys, we have run out of time, so we have to start the awards also. So thank you so much, everyone, for being here and sharing your thoughts. It's really, it's engaging, from insightful for me also. And I would believe, as you guys said that you are the Adam and Eve of this industry. So the flow will be decided by you, that how we go, and as we go into regional languages and connect with more and more people. That's what I call Bharat. The startups are very enthusiastic about Bharat. So as we go down there, I would, I hope that we'll see more and more people coming out and becoming, sharing their content and becoming stars. So thank you so much, everyone.
Yeah,
Bhavna,
Thank you,
Bhavna, if you
sir.
can join us, and I'll
Thank you.
request everyone to stay back for the awards, please. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much, Saurabh. Firstly, I'd really like to thank all our eminent influencers for joining, Saurabh. What an exciting round of discussions this has been. Thank you so much, Madan. Thank you, Ask. Thank you, Abhi and you. Thank you, Sadik, and thank you so much, Pankaj, for joining and giving us your valuable time. Saurabh, thank you for wrapping it up on time. But unfortunately, we're going to be having the next session soon right now. We're not going to be having the awards in this segment. I would have loved all our influencers to join us with a lot of celebration in this segment as well. But since, sort of, we do have a couple more minutes, would you like to take on something with your influencers just towards the end? I know you did ask them for their parting note, but probably a one word or a piece of advice or whatever, what would you feel sort of we can direct that to our influencers?
Yeah, I mean, if we have time, I would love to continue. So, I would really want to know that, as you guys have made a name for yourself already. So, we have a lot of people who want to become influencers. So, if just one thing that you would want to tell, that never do this, or always do this. If there is one particular thing that I can get from all our panelists, that would be great. So if I can start with Akshan, then move on.
I would just say two things: be authentic and listen. Listening is really important. Listen to your.
Yeah, yeah, that's very important. Yes. Abhi?
Yeah, you can say whatever Rak said makes sense. You just be honest. To sum up all the things that we said so far, just be honest to your audience. Your audience is your biggest asset.
Yeah, and be
Mm,
patient because you can never predict when one of your things
excellent.
can go viral. So don't expect everything to go viral on day one. Be
Mm,
patient. You have to put in. You may have to make maybe 100 videos before you get noticed, 1,000 videos before it reaches out to people. So if you're really serious about it, keep at it. Don't give up.
yeah, I believe it's a journey. It starts and then it
Definitely,
takes a lot of time, and
definitely,
before it
it's a
really
journey.
builds up.
It's a
And
journey, and it's like any other business. So you wouldn't
yeah,
expect if you say you had a restaurant, you wouldn't expect it to be house sold out on the first day if you haven't done the right promotions or whatever. So then it works the same similar way.
mhm. Okay, okay. Yeah, Madhu?
I don't know if this would be right, but I think do not run behind money. Do
Mm-hmm.
what you really love to do, money will
Mm-hmm.
follow. I think most
Absolutely.
of the people who are here started out that way. We didn't do this for money. We didn't know that this would become our profession. We started doing this because we like doing
Like
this.
that. Yeah.
We would be doing this even if we are not paid, right? But what I feel is a lot of people who are coming up now, right? The first question they ask us is how much you make. How much can I make when I become an influencer? No, it's not about money. When you
Absolutely.
have money
Absolutely.
as a goal, when you get into this field, it's really tough to survive.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I would say. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Very nicely said. So.
Saurabh, as far as I'm concerned, this is not my profession at all. Right? This is something I enjoy doing. Right? So I and I think as long as you're enjoying what you're doing, the content would be beautiful. It would come out good. And uh, and as New rightly said, that don't expect that day one you're going to be the most successful content creator on the internet. Believe me, the internet is flooded with content. For your content to get noticed, it would have to be really, really good, right? And really be honest. Akshay is the right word, honest, right? And then definitely I'm sure someday you will find that one particular piece that will take you to your audience. And as New said, you'll have to wait. Maybe you'll be creating 100 pieces or 1,000 pieces before you get noticed and before something goes viral. But believe me, it will happen as long as you hold on to your dream, as long as patience and perseverance are your best friends along with you.
Hmm. So, before Sadiq, I want, if you answer this particular question, that what you would want to,
Uh-huh.
I want to check one thing. So, when you say that, you may be making 100 of content which is not working, and then the 101st one works. So, does it happen that, when your 101st one works, people come back to see your earlier creations also, and that too, also get traction?
Yeah, yeah,
Yes,
definitely.
they do.
That's how it works.
That's
So
Okay.
if you see,
Correct.
most people in 2020 were big fans of Yashraj Mukhate because of his Rasodi Mein Kaun Tha and other remixes. So he has been making videos for the past several years. He's pretty talented. But he got noticed with that one track that he made, and then people went back and saw other stuff, and then stuck around to see his future remixes as well. So that is how it works.
Mm. So you mean that the labor is not lost? You still
Oh no, it's never lost.
even if that time people are not looking at it. So that should be encouraging for people who want to enter this field. That even if today no one's watching at it, but if you make it, once you hit that correct button, then people will come back to even see your work that you have done earlier. Sadiq, final note from you in terms of what one should definitely do or not do when they're aspiring to be content creators and influencers.
Okay. Okay. Money is secondary. Make trust, keep trust, make amazing content.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sort of one parting note. I also would like to tell all our content creators, you must understand your audience first. Whom are you creating the content for? Is it for yourself, or are you creating it for others to see? You know. So
Mhm.
if you're creating for somebody else to see it, right, then you have to see it from their eyes first, and then produce that content. So understand your audience, then you produce your content, which is very, very important.
Mhm. Okay. All right. All right.
No,
Thank
I
you.
find this very, uh, this thing, right? If you really notice, all the creators were addressing themselves as content creators. But when it comes to someone who's not a content creator, they address us as influencer. We are even contradictory with the term because we are, to be, as a creator, I know we don't really like being called influencers. We don't want to influence. We want to be just creators.
Yeah.
The tag of influencer is stuck to us.
Mhm.
So yeah, we are really the Adam and Eves. We have no idea what we are doing. We are in this journey. We are enjoying it, and we will figure out how this ends.
Yeah. Make passion as a profession.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for joining me and us here today. And it was really wonderful to listen to hear from everyone. If you, Bhavna, over to you.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you so much to all our wonderful influencers for joining and giving us your valuable time. And, we had ample time. We learned so much from all of you, from your experiential sharing. And I'm sure this will go a lot, a long way for our upcoming influencers for sure. So thank you once again for your valuable time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye
Bye.
bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, with this, please do join us for our next session starting at 1 p.m. Indian Standard Time. Thank you all for your valuable time. Thank you.